No. She's pregnant as well. How far along? 14, 15 weeks.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you are tuning in. This is Unapologetically me, featuring me. No special guest, just me. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a great day, a great week, a great weekend, whatever day it is that you're watching this video. I have decided that I am going to do a series on the Chris Watts case, particularly focusing on Nichol Kessinger. I have been asked a few times in a few other comment sections of a few videos that I've done over the last 2 years, asking me my thoughts about the Chris Watts case. And in the series that I just did on Gypsy Rose Blanchard, someone made a comment of, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on Nichol Kessinger in the Chris Watts case. And right away, I jumped on it because I'm looking for another case to do. I had already been looking at 2 other ones, researching them for videos, but I have always wanted to deep dive into this case because it is so complex. And there are reasons that I didn't, but I'm definitely up for it now. So the last week, I have done nothing but research the Chris Watts case, and I fell down many a rabbit hole, but I've been gathering information, and I am still gathering information, and I would like to do a series digging into the relationship between Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger and whether or not she may have had more to do with this than she claims. And the reason that I'm going to put this video out right now is to just let you guys know that I am creating a series. It is going to take some time. I have 4 kids of my own. I try my best to get videos out quickly, but I do research very extensively and I fact check everything. I also gain all of my own documents. I watch all of the interviews myself. I don't take anything off of what someone else says. I go into these cases completely unbiased and I just go from there and see where my mind takes me. So I want to put this video out, just kind of breaking down the case, familiarizing anyone who does not know about this case, and also giving you guys time to go research some things yourself if you'd like to before I come out with my series. So it's probably going to be at least 3 parts. I'm not really including this as a part. It's just kind of telling you guys what I'm going to be doing and breaking down the case quickly. So, like I said, you're likely acquainted with this disturbing story of Chris and Shannan Watts, but just in case you're not, the story goes like this. After returning home from a business trip in the early hours of August 13th, 2018, Shannan Watts and the couple's 2 daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, went missing. While Chris Watts initially appeared on television to plead for the safe return of his family, it would later come out the husband and father was the one responsible. And before Chris was arrested for all 3 murders, it was revealed that he had been having an affair with a coworker by the name of Nichol Kessinger. Through social media posts, news footage, police body cams, and intimate photos, the Netflix documentary American Murder: The Family Next Door pieces together the events that led up to the tragic deaths of Shannan, Celeste, and Bella at the hands of Chris. This documentary also looks into Chris's relationship with Nichol Kessinger and his potential motives for wanting to quote-unquote annihilate his family and start a new life with a woman he barely knew. So if you guys have not seen that and you want to, you have Netflix, I would suggest that you watch it. I personally have not watched it. Like I said, I am starting from scratch, doing my own dive into it. I would like to watch it, but I'm not going to watch it right now while I'm doing active research into the case.
Things were bad and that she didn't know what was going on with Chris.
I'm worried sick. This is completely unlike her.
My mom just never thought she was good enough. Maybe she sat there and thought about it. Doesn't love me. Maybe I should just go.
Did you cause Shannan's disappearance?
We're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised anything.
There's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is. And in about 5 minutes, there's going to be 2 of us.
We're going to be digging into the truth about Chris Watts' mistress, Nichol Kessinger. In a revealing interview with the Denver Post in November of 2018, Nichol Kessinger discussed her affair with Chris Watts and what happened in the months leading up to the devastating murders of his wife and children. Nicole and Chris started speaking at work in June of 2018, according to Nicole, and by July 2018, the pair had started a romantic relationship. Over the summer, Shannan Watts took her daughters to North Carolina to spend time with her parents and brother, as well as to do some networking for the company she worked for called Thrive. She was there for about 6 weeks, and while Chris joined Shannan and the girls at the end of this vacation, he spent a majority of those 6 weeks at home in Denver, meaning he had plenty of opportunity to start having an affair with Kessinger, and that he did. As reported by the Denver Post, Kessinger and Chris began a physical relationship in early July of 2018, and they saw each other about 4 or 5 times a week. Nicole told Chris she wanted to take it slow and that he should focus on helping his daughters adjust to the divorce. Yet the couple went on a plethora of dates while Shannan was away. Chris spent time going to bars, restaurants, car museums, and sand dunes with Nicole.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
However, when Chris flew out to North Carolina to join his family at the end of July, he called Nicole and said that his divorce was final, which was another lie. While investigating Chris Watts for the murders of Shannan, Bella, and Celeste, investigators uncovered Google searches that shed light on the affair between Chris and Nichol Kessinger. In the discovery documents, it was revealed that on July 24th of 2018, soon after Nicole and Chris started dating, Nicole Google searched the phrase, quote, "man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife," unquote, suggesting that she knew Chris was in fact still married. She subsequently Googled the term, quote, "marrying your mistress," unquote. And according to the discovery document, on August 4th at 12:45 a.m., for over 2 hours, Kessinger Googled for wedding dresses. If her internet searches are any indication, after just a few weeks of dating Chris, Nicole was reportedly thinking about marrying him, lending more weight to the idea that Kessinger knew Chris wasn't separated from his wife. The discovery documents also reported hours worth of searches for Shannan Watts, and after the murders, a search using the phrase, quote, "can cops trace text messages," unquote, on Kessinger's phone. Meanwhile, Chris's search history revealed that he Googled, quote, "when to say I love you for the first time in a new relationship," unquote, on July 25th, proving that the relationship with his mistress was moving very fast. While Shannan was away for work in Arizona that weekend of her murder, Chris Watts decided to take Nichol Kessinger on a date to the Lazy Dog Sports Bar and Grill in Erie, Colorado. And this was August 11th. According to the Frederick Police Department, or page 1919 of the discovery, Shannan grew suspicious when Chris spent over $60 on their joint account. She looked up Lazy Dog menu that same day, trying to find out if he'd purchased 1 or 2 meals at the establishment. Also, according to the discovery, Nicole reportedly revealed to police that Chris used a credit card to pay for the meal that time, and she took that as a positive sign in their relationship because Chris usually paid for any of their meals with gift cards from Anadarko. which she took as an attempt by Chris to conceal his activities from his wife. It would seem to Nicole that Chris had now made the decision to no longer conceal his affair from his wife, Shannan, which Nicole believed to be a positive step in their relationship. Just 2 days after that dinner, Chris killed Shannan, and Nicole was reportedly in total shock about the tragic events. She told the Denver Post, quote, "When I read the news, I found out he was still married and his wife was 15 weeks pregnant," unquote. The Denver Post revealed that Nichol Kessinger reached out to investigators prior to Chris Watts' arrest so that she could cooperate in their investigation. The Daily Mail reportedly acquired a recording of Kessinger's interview with police in which she said, quote, "My name is about to be, slandered. I don't know how long it's going to take to heal, but I would not be surprised if it's going to be hard to go out in public sometimes for a couple of years," unquote. She then continued, quote, "It's like, I'm going to wake up every day and know that, this mom and her unborn child and these 2 little girls are not around anymore. It breaks my heart," unquote. The Daily Mail has alleged that Nichol Kessinger has actually gone into hiding since Chris's arrest for the murders of his wife and 2 children, and might even be in witness protection, although this is unconfirmed. The Daily Mail also suggested that she'd moved to another state and had a new job, all in an attempt to start a new life out of the spotlight. In October of 2018, the Daily Mail also reported that Nichol Kessinger had applied to change her name in Jefferson County, Colorado, presumably to try to escape any association to the Chris Watts case. Despite her cooperation with law enforcement, the ongoing press, which was mostly negative, seemingly drove Nichol Kessinger into hiding, and no matter how hard she might try to stay out of the limelight, she just keeps getting dragged back in.
Hi. It's me. I guess just call me back when you have a chance. Bye. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye.
A new bombshell claim about her and Watts' post-sentencing surfaced, making people suspicious all over again. As the Daily Mail reported in March of 2021, a former inmate of Chris, David Carter, claimed to the Daily Mail that Chris and Nicole had been in regular correspondence beginning in September of 2020. David Carter, who has since been released from the Wisconsin Correctional Facility where Chris Watts is currently incarcerated, claimed that Chris said he was contacted by Nicole in order to, quote, "clear some things up," unquote, despite the fact that Nicole had been in hiding and reportedly has changed her name. David Carter also claimed prison officials found out about the supposed correspondence, but they declined to comment. Either way, it's obvious interest in the case isn't going anywhere. When Shannan Watts disappeared on August 13th, 2018, she was pregnant with a son and the mother of 2 daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, or Cece. And while expecting another baby would be a cause for celebration in most families, this announcement seemed to trigger something in Chris. According to documents released by the Wild County District Attorney's Office, Shannan told a friend in a text message sent on August 7th, 2018, quote, "I don't feel safe with him after what he said about the baby," unquote. That same day, Shannan wrote, quote, "He has changed. I don't know who he is," unquote. Shannan seemed to question her husband's behavior and the way he was treating her in these messages, which are all listed in Discovery, and we will be going over. Shannan's mother, Sandra Ruszczyk, revealed on 2020 that her daughter had told her that the transformation happened over the course of a few weeks, maybe a month. One of Shannan's close friends, Nicole Atkinson, told ABC's Nightline, quote, "He wasn't being the loving Chris that he normally was. He wasn't touching or hugging or doing stuff like that. He wasn't being as attentive to the girls as he normally is," unquote. She also shared that she knew Chris and Shannan, quote, "were having some issues about 3 weeks prior to everything," unquote. The seemingly happy marriage appeared to crumble very quickly in the summer of 2018. Though Nichol Kessinger reportedly tried to delete much of her correspondence with Chris Watts from her phone, the discovery file released by the Weld County District Attorney's Office revealed many details about Nicole and her relationship with Chris. Kessinger deleted Chris Watts' contact information as well as their text messages and call logs from her phone before contacting local police to disclose their affair. And according to the discovery file, she Googled, quote, "How long do phone companies keep text messages?" as well as a few other things, which again, we will get into. This discovery document that I keep talking about contains a lot of correspondence between Chris and Nicole, including texts, love letters, phone logs, photos of them together on overnight trips. Chris managed to keep explicit messages and photos from Nicole on his phone using an app called Secret Calculator so that no one else could find them easily. Plus, as the phone records show, Nicole and Chris were in close contact on the night of the murders and the following day. We're also going to talk about a phone ping of Nichol Kessinger. That's right, Nichol Kessinger's phone pinged at a tower near Chris's home a little after 6 a.m. on the day of the murders. There have been authors who have written books about this case. One author in particular, Shannan Watts, released a book called Letters from Christopher, based upon her correspondence with Chris. In October of 2019, she shared an excerpt from one of the alleged letters with the Daily Mail, which read, quote, "All the weeks of me thinking about killing her, and now I was faced with it," unquote. He allegedly wrote, quote, "August 12th, when I finished putting the girls to bed, I walked away and said, quote, that's the last time I'm going to be tucking my babies in. I knew what was going to happen the day before, and I did nothing to stop it," unquote. If the correspondence contained in Cato's book is authentic, it would appear that Chris had been secretly planning this tragic event for some time. Yet in social media posts on Shannan Watts' Facebook page, Chris appeared to be the perfect husband. On June 20th, 2018, Shannan revealed Chris's response when she sent him the ultrasound of baby number 3. She captioned a snap, quote, "I love Chris. He's the best dad us girls could ask for," unquote. However, Chris and Shannan's relationship had even caused concern to neighbors. In fact, the nearly 2,000-page discovery report that I've been talking about, compiled about the murders, featured testimony from Chris and Shannan's neighbors. According to the report, Shannan's friend, Nicole Atkinson, and another neighbor, Nathaniel, felt Chris was extremely nervous that day. At one point, Nathaniel said he had heard Christopher numerous times in the past yelling loudly at Shannan. A lot of this is on body cam footage, which we will be looking at as well during this series. The report also made it clear that Shannan's own family suspected Chris the second she disappeared, suggesting that behind closed doors, their relationship was less than ideal. The report also states that while police were searching the family home, Shannan's mother called during this time and was adamant that Chris had done something and that the detective in the case needed to check the GPS on his truck, saying something along the lines of, "You find his truck, you will find my family." So clearly, Shannan's family suspected Chris from day one. The Denver Post article also claimed that Nicole started dating Chris in July of 2018, and she said, quote, "We had just met, I barely knew him," unquote. According to Nicole, when she found out that Chris's wife and daughters had gone missing on August 13th, Chris was suspiciously calm. It was only later, once Nicole learned more details about the shocking disappearances, that she started to question Chris. Quote, "It got to a point that he was telling me so many lies that I eventually told him I didn't want to speak to him again until his family was found," unquote. She told the Denver Post, quote, "I just wanted to help. With a pregnant woman and 2 children missing, I was going to do anything I could," unquote. On August 15, 2018, 2 days after Shannan was reported missing, Nicole met with the FBI to tell them everything she knew, and Chris was arrested later that same day. While the Watts family presented an idyllic life to the outside world, they'd apparently been dealing with some hefty financial issues for quite some time. It was reported by CNN that Shannan and Chris had filed for bankruptcy in 2015, and prior to filing, they were about $70,000 in debt, most of it from student loans and credit card purchases. The couple reported 2 savings accounts with a total of $9.51 and a joint checking with $864. People magazine confirmed that with the couple's house, their total liabilities were $448,820 when they filed for bankruptcy. Unfortunately, Shannan and Chris's finances likely played a huge amount of stress on the couple. Though Shannan's mother, Sandra, did talk about this, and it's in the discovery as well, that there were a lot of medical expenses and that was a majority of where the debt had come from. It was medical debt from health issues that not just Shannan was having, but the girls were having as well. It can be noted, though, that the Watts filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which asks the court to write off financial debt such as credit cards and loans, but allows the applicant to keep making payments on assets such as houses and cars. But it is unclear if Shannan and Chris were granted the filing. Nichol Kessinger appeared to confirm the financial issues the Watts family had been dealing with during her police interview. According to the discovery documents, Nicole told police that Chris and Shannan, quote, did not get along well and their financial life was also troubling, unquote. The report added, quote, she said Chris was struggling with finances and now he had a 3rd kid on the way and she does not know if he could afford another kid, unquote. The document went on to say that Nicole told police that, quote, Shannan was not responsive to this financial trouble, unquote.
I think I met him sometime in June, probably early June. It might have been May. It was just talking at work. It was pretty casual. He didn't have a wedding ring on his finger, and every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either. And then one day he told me that he had 2 kids. He mentioned that he did have a significant other, and then he told me that those 2 were in the process of a separation. Numerous amounts of people coming in my office one day, and he happened to be one of them. So that day we just started talking, and then every time I saw him in the hallway after that, and it was always hit or miss, like it wasn't an everyday thing, it was just when I saw him, we just started talking, and we just kind of had a lot in common and just hit it off, so we'd always have, pretty good conversations, and then, I don't know.
So had you guys ever gone out on any kind of
No.
date at that time? You just were
No.
conversing at work?
Yeah, that's all it was. I don't know. We started hanging out. We hung out. We went to a park. Hung out at a park. I think he was probably interested in me. And so he talked to me a couple times via his work phone, and I was like, no. Like, it was still very, friendly conversation. But then when I realized, this man is interested in me, I'm interested in him, and we just continued to talk. And then, we kept it pretty simple, I guess,
Can you just describe his overall demeanor over the 8, 10, 12 weeks that you guys knew each other?
It wasn't that long. It was 6 weeks that we were hanging out.
For a short, casual, really not give a fuck relationship, Nichol Kessinger knows a lot about their life. And that can only mean one thing. They talked a lot. So casual as she may want to believe that it was, it doesn't sound very casual to me. Remember that charge on the joint account for the over $60? Shannan reportedly quizzed Chris about this charge and told a friend that her husband claimed to have eaten a salmon dinner and drank a beer with friends after the Rockies game. But the $62 bill aroused her suspicions because it seemed to be pricey for fish and beer. Basically, Shannan had her doubts. Chris Watts' motives for murdering his wife, 2 daughters, and unborn son have long been questioned by anyone who is following this case. He has often been labeled as a family annihilator. The morning after he killed his family and disposed of their bodies at an oil work site owned by his then employer, Anadarko, Chris called the school the girls were set to attend, saying that they would no longer be coming. Then, Chris contacted a realtor to discuss the selling of his house and texted his girlfriend about their future. District Attorney Michael Rourke said at Chris's sentencing hearing, "It seems that Chris started implementing plans to start a new life on the very same day he murdered his family." Explaining Chris's potential motive, Rourke continued, quote, "He had a desire for a fresh start, to begin a relationship with a new love that overpowered all decency and feelings for his wife, his daughters, and his unborn son," unquote. Chris's incomprehensible actions are impossible to understand for many of us watching this case unfold. But as Chris had recently struck up a new relationship with Nichol Kessinger and was known to be having some troubles in his marriage, it seems extremely possible that he killed his family with the belief that he could start a brand new life, which in my opinion is the most chilling of it all. So that is the gist of what we're going to get into. I said this is going to be a deep dive, and it is. We are going to deep dive into all of this, her interviews with police, all of her inconsistencies. And when I tell you all of her inconsistencies, pretty much everything that comes out of her mouth ends up being contradicted by the next sentence that comes out of her mouth throughout her entire questioning. We're going to get into discovery. We're going to look at text messages, phone records. We're going to get into all of it. So if you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you're actually notified when these videos come out. Because like I said, there was a point I was putting videos out every single week. I'm not able to do that now, but I am trying to get back on that track. So they're a little sporadic at the moment, but I at least put out 2 a month for sure. The only way to know for sure when I put one out though is to be subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you're notified. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys on the next one, which will be part 1 of the deep dive on Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger. Be safe, be happy, be healthy, and most of all, be unapologetically you. Bye-bye.